I want to build our foundation stronger. I feel like we all love reading and we all love reviewing it, and that's why we started this podcast. But I really want to make sure that we build on that and have others join in on the love that we all share for reading. People that don't really like to read, don't really enjoy that time away. I want them to learn that there are all different kind of genres of books, and you can learn to love reading just as much as we do.
I would say my ultimate goal for this podcast is to get some reading back into the communities. You know, our teens, our young adults, they just don't enjoy reading. And so what we found is that when we look at reading and movie going, they love to go to the movies, they just don't read. So if we compare those two and mesh up something that they don't like so much to something that they love and get them to do both, and to see that they're not mutually exclusive, there's a way where you can enjoy doing both. We could get people reading again, which would encourage, more literacy in families. That's my ultimate goal. I just want people to start reading.
Accomplishments for year 2. Well, year 1 has been great. So accomplishments for year 2 would be get grounded in our organization, learn more about our community and how we can get them involved, get more sponsors involved so that we can do bigger and better and greater things, working with children, working with the elderly, and just putting reading back in everybody's everyday life. Just take people away, especially now with what we're dealing with in the coronavirus pandemic. I think books are an easy way to break free for a little while and get some peace of mind. So that would be my goal for year 2.
Okay, so you guys may not know this, but my most funniest moment was when we forgot to hit record on one of our podcast episodes. And as you may figure, we started out absolutely perfect and had to try to reenact that perfection. Was absolutely horrendous. But it was made for a hilarious day for us. Like I said, we tried to recreate it. We could not get it together. We just kept laughing and laughing. So by far the most funniest for me.
My most memorable moment would have been when we took a trip to New York to do a live recording for the movie Just Mercy. We were leaving the hotel and I had to run back up to my room to get something. And when I came downstairs, I stepped out of the elevator and I see Rhea and Lynn and Champagne in the lobby just dancing like crazy. And I'm like, what's going on? Like they were doing crazy dance. And I look over at the service desk and they're kind of watching them and everybody's sort of into this, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on because I just don't know. And so then they tell me that they had this challenge to see who could dance off beat. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun. But there was no music. So my question was, what beat were you dancing off of? Because there was no music. So I guess they were dancing off beat to whatever was going on in their heads individually. But they just look crazy. Yeah, it was a really crazy scene.
What was my funniest moment? My funniest moment was when we went to a movie premiere that we were invited to. We received like VIP treatment and we got our own seats laid out in the theater. And little known fact, Champagne and I absolutely love movie theater popcorn. And so we got our popcorn, we all sit down in the seat, and right before the movie was getting ready to start, Lynn and Treva asked us all to move down like one seat. Well, because Champagne and I absolutely love movie theater popcorn, we like layer the butter, we layer the little sprinkles of salt all throughout the popcorn, and it was so freaking greasy that when they moved over one seat, they said the whole seat was so full of grease, like it was as if there was like Armor All on a tire, and they were so freaked out and grossed out the whole time, and we just bust out laughing. And everybody in the movie theater was like, what is going on? The movie has not even started yet. And so I think for me, that's my funniest moment since we've been together doing our podcast.
I would have to say we went to a lot this year. We were very busy this year. But if I had to narrow it down, it would probably be meeting Sterling K. Brown at his premiere of a movie called Waves. Great movie, great person. He makes it the most memorable because he was absolutely perfect. He was like the nicest person you ever want to meet, giving us hugs. He sat us down. We talked for a little while. Amazing person. So if I had to choose one, that would be definitely my most memorable.
One of my favorite events in 2019 was our attendance at the movie premiere for Where Did You Go, Bernadette? This was such an exciting premiere. I mean, of course, we love the book and we like the movie, but for this particular premiere, it was the first time where we were listed as the official press. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So it was so exciting because we go to these movie premieres, but this was the actual first one where they had us listed as press. So it sort of marked the realness of the podcast and made it so that, you know, we're legit. It was really exciting.
I would say my most memorable moment in the past year for our podcast was our reveal, I guess you could call it, or our grand opening, our premiere. Like, we're here, we're real. Within a short amount of time, we had a huge turnout. Whenever you're doing something new, you never know, if people are going to have time. I think the weather was really bad, so we just weren't sure how things were going to turn out, and we had so much support. Not just support from our own family, but friends of family and friends of friends. I mean, we had people that registered, paid, and didn't even come. They just really wanted to support us in our endeavors. So to me, that's most memorable because you really can't make it without the support of your family and sometimes even your friends, just to make things possible. And so that would be memorable for me.
My favorite review of 2019 was You from Karen Kapnis. I feel like we had the greatest dynamic and conversation about the content. I mean, just like how crazy Joe was and how dumb Beck was, and we just laughed and had a great time. So that was my favorite.
My favorite book to review in 2019 was, I would have to say, Pet Sematary. Let me tell you why. So Champagne and I don't do scary movies well. So we avoided doing Stephen King books like The Plague. I mean, Ray and Lynn, they're all into the scary stuff. And so we're reading this book and we're both kind of like, okay, we can't read this book unless someone's home with us, and just having all this anxiety. And then we all came together to watch the Pet Sematary movies. I think there was a couple of them. And there was nothing but screaming and yelling and hooping and hollering from Champagne and I because we were terrified. So that was a lot of fun doing that book. And of course, since then, we've done several Stephen King books. But that was the first one, so it was pretty scary.
Would be The Shack. I love this book to movie. It's very deep. It answered a lot of questions. It resonated so deeply with me that I absolutely cannot leave this one out. So definitely The Shack. I definitely recommend it to everyone.
My favorite wine. Oh my gosh, we've had so much. I would say the one that stands out is the Legends Vineyard exclusive, the LVE. So we had their Provence Rosé, and it was really good. That was one of the bottles that I think we finished before we even got the review started. Yeah, that was some good wine.
My most favorite wine is, of course, Apothic. I love all their wines, their reds, their white, their rosé, the special editions they have. But recently I've learned that I really enjoy One Hope wine. It's for a great cause, they go to great charities, but also I really enjoy the flavors because they're blended grapes and their different blends are delicious. So I'd say definitely Apothic, but One Hope has definitely been a second runner-up.
We honestly had a lot. But if I had to narrow it down for me, because I'm such a sweet girl, literally, that I usually hate dry, but we've actually found the perfect mixture of both. So if you like sweet and dry or one or the other, the perfect medium would be Cooper's Hawk Orange Muscat. Best wine ever. Great tasting, sweet, not a little bit sweet, a little bit dry. Like I said, perfect combination for me. Yum. Want some now.
Best one-liner. I don't really know about the best one-liner. I think my best one-liner would be a word. Whenever Champagne really, really likes a book, she's like, that was amazing. And she says it all the time. And it's so like spirited and she's so excited. And so for me, that's my favorite or my best one-liner because that's how I know, okay, she likes it. She really, really likes it. And so if you ever listen in on the podcast and you hear her say, that was amazing, or that actor is amazing, you'll hear me crack up. If I haven't already had too much to drink, typically I would crack up. But yeah, that is the one-liner for me.
Who had the best one-liner? Of course it was Rhea. Always has the funniest and the most random one-liners, and her reoccurring one-liner is, that's irrelevant. Usually things actually are, but that's my favorite one-liner.